Hi FlossTube, it's Kim J with Kim J Stitches, or you might remember me as Kim J Inspired. I have done these floss tubes off and on for 6 years, and I am back. Today is July 4th, 2026. It is the 250th birthday of America. I haven't done one of these floss tubes in a while, so I welcome everyone back who used to watch, and if there are new people watching, welcome. I hope you like what you see and subscribe. I only talk about cross stitch and finishing. I don't really do any other crafts. When I'm finishing my cross stitch, you're going to see, I'm going to show you something. I do paint my own things and do some crazy stuff, but it's just cross stitch and cross stitch finishing is what I feature on my channel. Haven't really wanted to pick up any other crafts, but hey, that's perfectly fine. Quick life update on me. I'm going to give this to you in about a minute because I really don't like to talk a lot about myself. I like to get to the stitching. As you know, my husband Steve, he's been in some previous videos if you've watched this before. He was diagnosed with Alzheimer's almost 3 years ago, but he's doing great. Still in the early to mild stage, still drives every once in a while, and he's just self-sufficient. We're doing amazing. We're still traveling and doing all the things that we used to do. My son, he's now all grown up, has an apartment, and is doing great at his job. He graduated from college about 4 years ago, and he just got back from a business trip to Oregon. And he's just doing remarkably well. I'm incredibly proud of him. So that's just kind of a quick update on us. How I'm going to do this today, this is going to be a patriotic and Christmas whip parade with a couple of some more of my other whips. The way that our schedule works, as I mentioned, we do travel. We still do some little travel blogging and travel writing on the website southernplacesandfaces.com. That's our website. You can also find us on Facebook at Southern Places and Faces if you're interested in checking that out. On occasion, I do talk about my crafting and my cross stitch, and I'm actually probably going to talk about Dillard, Georgia, which is where I went up to the Barefoot Needle Art Retreat back in May and had an amazing time. Beautiful location. We could not have asked for better weather. As we were leaving that Sunday, I was just walking out and the weather was perfect and it was beautiful up there. I'd spent the whole weekend cross stitching. I thought this must be what heaven is going to be like because it was so perfect. But I really enjoyed that. So as I mentioned, we're going to do some patriotic, kind of a small patriotic Christmas and a few of the whip parades. I'm going to show you some of my finishes for the 250th anniversary. And if you've been with me before, you know that I don't like to do very long videos, which is why I'm kind of breaking up this whip parade for you. So I'm going to show you a couple of finishes. This one I was quite proud of, and I'm going to have to do some reaching during this video. So here's the pattern. This is Teresa Coggett's We Are Blessed. And it's finished in this drum, and it's beautiful, but it was kind of expensive and pricey for my budget. So I was trying to figure out how am I going to do a finish for this. And a lot of people, I saw it on the retreat, they put it in a hoop. I've seen some very creative finishes online, but I was like, I kind of want to do a drum, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So here's what I ended up doing. So just hold on, you're going to see a lot of me. I just threw the drumsticks to the floor. That's okay. This is actually my finish. It looks kind of like a drum. This is actually a cake pan that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. And I took it was kind of a purpley pink color. I took it and painted it red. Well, the kind of material that it is, the paint didn't do too well. My son, who is sometimes my biggest critic, he said, you know, it kind of makes it look kind of vintagey when you do that. So I just kind of painted this. This is just some ribbon that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. I think I got these stars at Walmart. And then as far as the inside, I'm not going to open it. If I still have the project in a wooden hoop because I'm a hoop stitcher. And I put just filled this up with some old grocery bags because my husband seems to collect them and we have millions of them. It seems like they just grow. So I used that, and then I filled it with that. Then I put another kind of smaller lid on top of it, and I just laid the cross stitch piece down on top of it. Now I kind of, the paint wasn't looking great. I kind of put this little trim here, and then to kind of cover up where it was, I added a star there. Now there are some drumsticks. They're down here. If you will pardon me, I will pick them up. I'm just going to pick up one of them, okay? So my drumsticks are kind of big, and that's because I could not get to Hobby Lobby. I finished this on a Sunday and I just wanted to be done with it. It's just a wooden dowel with a bead. Yes, you can beat the little drum there. So That's all it is. But this displayed, if you recall, if you watched this last year, but I'll tell you this, if you're new here this year, we have a little area. Our apartment, we have a pretty large apartment for an apartment, and it's a very big open area, and I have a little kind of cabinet, a wooden cabinet. It's really cute. It sits in my dining room, and it's my seasonal decorating, and I put things on top of the cabinet, and the wall above it has all of our seasonal decorations. Most everything that I've done, you can see on, and I don't know if I took a picture of the wall for Instagram, but most of the things that are on that wall you have seen. So if you have followed me, or if you follow me on Instagram. This is another one that I finished for the 250th. The pattern is from Monica Stitching. It was so much fun. Funny story about this pattern. I was supposed to take it to Barefoot Needle Art Retreat in Dillard so that I could have they were doing a class on how to do a flat fold, and this was going to be my flat fold. Well, I could not find this pattern anywhere. I couldn't find it. I had stitched it, couldn't find anything. So ended up at the retreat, I did a flat fold of one of my Prairie Schooler Santas. I did that there, came home, and just somehow found this magically. This is one of those frames that you can get from the company, I think you say it Bucilla, it's B-U-C-I-L-L-A, I think. Helen D has shown these on her FlossTube. I just bought one of those, and you can just put the hoop directly in here. This one is a 6-inch frame, and I just painted it. I'm not a very good painter, but this is not terrible. This is also not the color blue that I wanted, but hey, I had already painted it by the time that I had discovered I really wasn't crazy about it. It is just for me, and this actually hangs up in my office. So those are just a couple, those are really the only two Patriotic finishes that I had. I had a lot of starts, Patriotic starts, and why don't we just get into this quick whip parade. But first, if you guys are, let me start first though, because what I have lying here, I'm going to go by what's here first, because there are piles over here. And there's the pile for next week's. Because next week, I'm going to kind of finish off my whip parade and then just kind of do a regular FlossTube. So if you guys are doing Whip Go, I am doing Whip Go, and I've actually kept up with Whip Go all year long. It's an absolute miracle that I have. So first thing, I want to show you my Whip Go calls for this month. I don't remember the numbers, but these are my projects that I'll be stitching on this month. I set my WIPCO goal to do 8 hours a month on each of these projects. That way they kind of get some, I know for sure they're going to get a lot of work. And it's been amazing some of the progress that I've had on some of the projects. I actually had one finish, and I'm thinking I might finish one in this month, because one of them it's a very small project, and I've done a lot of work on it already. So this is my first Whip Go call. This is Take Me Out to the Ball Game. It's by Little House Needleworks. I love this pattern. We are big baseball fans in this house. I am stitching this. This is 28 count MCG textile fabric that I don't remember. I might have picked it up on a stash unload. I don't know. This was a Whip Go call like earlier. I think in the year. So this is where I am. So there's a lot of French knots in there. I mistakenly told someone there were beads. I think what I decided to do was put beads in there. In fact, this little popcorn stand here, it's a lot of French knots for popcorn. I don't do French knots, so my best friend is coming at the end of July to kind of stitch with me. And I said, I am saving this, and I'm going to make sure I have every place that needs a French knot. She's put it in there. Like all the eyes for the people, I'm going to have her do that. This is an older pattern. I think it's 2012, but I absolutely love it. And I have this in my Tennessee volunteer bag made by Joyful Stitching by Deborah. I've had this bag a long time, and I absolutely love it. I will show some of my bags, and a lot of them are from Deborah at Joyful Stitching that I've had for a very long time. I do have some newer bags, and I may or may not remember where I got them, so please forgive me. My second Whip Go call. I am loving these. In fact, I have bought a lot of these. This is Heart and Hand, and this is the Bluebird sampler. It's my second Whip Go call. I have already been working on this. Now, I am doing all of these bird samplers. I forget all the ones there are. There's Cuckoo Bird. I have that one. I think Hummingbird and the Crow. And I just recently bought that. So I've already finished the Redbird sampler. And you could see that. So, and then I wanted, this is on some color and cotton, 32 count, casual linen, I think. So I just flipped this over to the other side, and I have started the Bluebird sampler right here. And that's where I am. So I think I might finish this in 8 hours. I don't know. We'll see. By the way, I don't know how this is going to sound. If this sounds echoey in here, it's because we have 9-foot ceilings in this apartment. So yeah, it might sound a little echoey. So those are my 2 WIP Go calls. Now to get to our patriotic and Christmas things, which is the WIP parade we're doing. As I said, I will do the rest of my WIPs next week, and I'll do a regular FlossTube on what I have worked on for that week. I will talk to you a little bit. A lot of the things that are in this pile here are things that I've worked on this week because they're patriotic, and I do try to work on Christmas year-round, at least once or twice a day. I think I'm going to also go ahead, and they might be in this pile, to show you my 2. I have 2 really large projects. For me, they're large. One of them is really large that I'm working on, and I do think they're also in this pile, so you might get to see those today. So these are my patriotic WIPs right now. I picked this up at the Barefoot Needle Art Retreat. This is by Sweet Wing Studio. Susan is one of my favorite designers. You probably will see a lot of her stuff. I'm going to show you a finish that I had of one of her projects next week that I really enjoyed. And I like finishing kind of crazy and creatively. If y'all remember, once I took a watering can, which I'm looking at because a lot of my cross stitch projects are right over here. I took a watering can and finished a watering can on it that was from Primrose Cottage Stitches, and it looks almost just like it. And I might put that in one of those little YouTube shorts. But anyway, this is Sweet Wing Studios, and this is one of the Wordy Birds, and this is July, and I just love this. It was really hard for me to put this down the other night, but I had other things to stitch on. This fabric is called Serenity. It's from Grace Notes Fabrics. I am still in their fabric club. And this is how far I am. This is a big piece of fabric. I haven't cut it yet. And that's my progress on it. I really love this. And I hope to have all of these patriotic projects done by next July 4th. But we all know I squirrel a lot and I get distracted and things happen. I picked this bag up. It was from Millennial Fabrics was up at the retreat, and they were selling some project bags, and it's handmade by Melissa Coons of Rusty Hinge Stitchery. I'm just going to put that up there if you can see that. I love this bag, and that's what is housed my. So this next project is I've only got a black and white copy of it because I don't have a color printer, or really I do, but the color is not working. I love Needle Treasures Nook, and this is Stars, Stripes, and Blooms, and I have just a small start on this, and this looks like poppies in it, so I'm probably going to actually try to get this finished by Veterans Day on November 11th. But and I just have a really small start on this. This is on 18 count Vintage Country Mocha, and that's all I have. This will stitch up fast once I get to working on it, but again, I was working on a lot of different projects and didn't quite get to that. This is in another Joyful Stitching, a patriotic bag. I love this one. Also, guys, I did buy this. I just didn't do it this year. I did buy the pairs. I just don't know what I'm going to do it. And I know I'm going to probably have to send those to a finisher. I don't know if I will ever be good enough to finish those on my own. This is probably my favorite project of all. I don't have the project bag in here. I left it in, and I was working on this morning. This is Blackbird Designs, Abigail Adams. So many people have stitched this. I am sure you've probably seen it. I love it so much. And I had started this on some gray even weave, and I just hated it. And now I'm stitching this on 32 count Legacy by Picture This Plus. I'm using the called for DMCs except for the red, and I'm using Weeks Dye Works Turkish red because I love that red. I think it's a great red. I have actually went all the way, and I didn't bring my board in here, all the way to the bottom on this side of the border. And I'm just having so much fun putting in all these motifs here. And I will tell you, this morning, we went and had lunch with my son, and I got up, and I'm going to show you this one specifically because I think it is the cutest. I was not going to do anything until I got that little bird and that little flag done. Isn't it adorable? It's really cute. I love it. It's probably this fabric is so soft. And I do hate doing the border. I hate doing borders anyway. But I'm loving doing all the little motifs. But I think I'm just going to try to get that border knocked out. And hopefully I was hoping to finish this. By the way, this is called Salute to Abigail. I don't know if I call it just Abigail Adams, but it's officially called Salute to Abigail. So love that one. So when this one came out, I absolutely had to have it. And I thought, oh yeah, I'll have it done by July 4th. And I didn't. So this is Plum Street Samplers Freedom Flock. A lot of people have stitched this one too. I am stitching this on some 36 count Edinburgh linen. I think this is also Picture This Plus Legacy. I actually like Picture This Plus Legacy a lot. But I think I still have the sticker. I do. Yep, it's Legacy. I haven't gotten very far on it, but I'm really excited to start stitching the eagle. I'm using all the called for DMC. Now I guess you can kind of see that the eagle is there. I'm hoping that that shows up very good because that is the called for DMC. That's as far as I am on that one. Love it, love it, love it. This is a So Much to Love bag that I purchased when they had a sale a few months ago. Absolutely love it. Love the little patchwork. So fun bag there. This project, I just waited too long to do. You probably remember, like, I think I bought this 5 or 6 years ago. This is it's actually called Memorial Day. It says, God shed his grace on thee. This is by Hands On Design. I bought the floss pack. They're sulky threads. I think I have the pack. I have some of them out, but I bought the sulky petites. I think I was just afraid I've never really stitched on them before. And oh my gosh, I absolutely love stitching on them. So much fun. So where I am, I'm just stitching this on some 32 count white even weave. And I've actually gone all the way down to the bottom. I do that sometimes. I'll take it all the way down to the bottom. So if you can see, I've gone all the way down to the bottom of that. I should have brought my board in here. I actually have one. I bought one last time when I was doing FlossTube last year. And I don't know where it is. And my craft room is in a mess. I'm actually in our guest bedroom, which is my favorite room of the house. There's a lot of yellow and blue in here, and I absolutely love it. It's like a ray of sunshine in here. And it stays this way year round. It's like in the wintertime when it was just so cold and gray. I come in here and it's like it's springtime all the time. And then next to us, I have an office and craft room. I do work from home, and I do like to have my craft room there too. You guys are going to be if you watched me 6 years ago, y'all are going to remember this. I went crazy over all these turkeys, and in fact have about 4 different ones. This one is a gobble couple, Gloria and Julius Gobble Free. So I bought all these. I didn't touch them. I never started them. So I put them on my WIPCO board, and last month this was a WIPCO call. And I had started it on some white fabric, but the white was not showing up. So I restarted it. This is a Grace Notes fabric too. I just don't remember the color. It's a Grace Notes. It's a 32 count even weave. And I'm really happy with the 8 hours I put into this. There you go. Isn't that so cute? Now that is actually, the bird there is supposed to be a tufted yellow color, which I actually bought the fancy floss. And for some reason, I just decided to do her in white. So she's going to be white. And so is her friend, who's also supposed to be in tufted yellow. But I did buy most of the fancy flosses. There are a few substitutions in my colors. If you're curious as to what they are, you can just send me a note and I will tell you. But I do absolutely love her and look forward to having her ready. And I don't know how I'm going to finish her next year. They're just, all these little turkeys, they're just in a little bag here with all of my colors. That's how they are. I'm going to be throwing things around, by the way. So those are all of my Patriotic WIPs. I do have only have one fall WIP going right now, and that's going to change because I have wanted to do Cinnamon Stars for 6 years, and I've had it in my stash for 4 years. And I'm going to start doing Cinnamon Stars. If you're not familiar with it, oh my goodness, who was the designer? I think it's Plum Street Samplers. Anyway, it's a beautiful design, and it is almost kitted up. That's going to be a fall WIP. And I just bought a pattern today from Sweet Wing Studio that says Happy Fall, y'all, that I am actually going to do another fall WIP. But I have stitched so much fall. As I'm looking over here, because this has a lot of my seasonal pieces. There are so many fall things here. So I don't really feel like I need to, but this has been, I call it almost a thorn in my side, because my best friend and I talk about this pattern all the time. Back in the day, I only stitched on like 14 or 18 count, and I loved this kind of oatmeal Ada. This is called, my best friend and I call it whirly pumpkin, but this is fall pumpkin. And this is the pattern, and it's big, especially when you're doing it on 14 count. And I'm gonna kind of hold it back here and hope that you can see it pretty good. We'll see. Ta-da, that's where I am. It is on my WIPCO board, but it has not been called. So I am hoping that I'm probably going to go ahead. I told my best friend, and I usually try to be truthful with her, that I may pull this out this summer and try to get it finished, and then I may have to put something else on my WIPCO board. So I did have, I've had to actually move a couple of things on my WIPCO board because they were just either projects that I UFO'd a picture of my son that I was stitching from a graph made by DMC. That graph was so wrong. His complexion was so wrong. I don't know. And it might be because the picture that I chose was terrible, but I UFO'd that project. After stitching it in January, because it was a WIPCO call. So that was it. All right, let's get on. Like I said, I like to keep it about 30 minutes and we should be on track. Let's get on to the Christmas WIPs, and then I'll show you a couple of other ones. And then next week we'll do just my miscellaneous WIPs, just things that I'm working on. So y'all know that I've been doing, if you've been watching me, y'all probably don't know. If you don't know me from Adam and this is your first time, I am trying to stitch as many of the Prairie Schooler Santas as I can. I've done, I think, 5. I own a bunch of them, including the latest, the 2026. This is the Santa collection from 1984 to 1987. I graduated from high school in 1985. And this is the 1985 Santa right here with the pointy hat and the little toys. And that's the one I'm doing now. I just finished 2000. That's the year my son was born. And I just finished it. And I just have a very small start on this one. See the little pointy hat? I'm getting his little nose. He's an interesting looking Santa, isn't he? He's a very interesting looking Santa. I like that very, very long white beard. I'm not a big fan of stitching on white, so we'll see how that goes. So I have a lot of my Prairie Schoolers in there. I do love Blackbird designs, and I have a huge collection of Blackbird patterns that I need to get to. And you just saw one of them. This is the only other Blackbird pattern that I have going on. A lot of people have stitched this one, and I meant to open it up. This is 'Tis the Season. And let me get it to the page where the chart is not. Is this not gorgeous? Now, my best friend, we have a tradition of stitching on New Year's Day, and she came over on New Year's Day and she finished hers. And hers is on a blue fabric, and it is absolutely gorgeous. But I think I posted, if you scroll back through my Instagram, I think I posted a picture of her finish of this pattern. It was awesome. I am stitching mine on a 28 count Through the Stones by Bee Stitch Me. I am using DMC with the exception of the cardinal, and I don't know when I finished the cardinal. I don't know if you saw the cardinal finish. The reason why I decided to use the silks and not the DMC for the cardinal is because, and I'm just gonna use the book, and because I forgot my board. Anyway, here is the beautiful, beautiful cardinal, and look at that variegation. It is gorgeous. I just realized I just got up in y'all's face. But yeah, I just absolutely love that. I wouldn't mind if YouTube picked that to be my like thumbnail. They usually pick a picture and go on some kind of weird face, like this is what they're gonna pick to be my thumbnail. So. All right, this one, my friend Sarah from Arkansas, she hasn't done a FlossTube in a while, but she showed this on her FlossTube, I think 1.5 years ago. It's been a while. I just went and purchased it right after she said it. I just absolutely loved it. This is Autumn Lane Stitchery, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Is that not just the cutest? And to see it stitched, oh, it's just gorgeous. I am stitching mine on 18 count Picture This Plus Mystic. The call for fabric is Mystic, but the suggested count is 28 or 32, but I decided to do it on 18 count. Kind of regretting that, because if you know anything about Picture This Plus, sometimes their holes are very tight because of the dyeing, and yeah, this is stitching more like a 20 count. This is where I am. I have to stitch this during the daytime, and this is usually a Saturday stitch or a Sunday stitch, or anytime I have some daytime stitching, because it's hard to see because it's dark blue. But absolutely love that one. Okay, this is another one that, and I'm just throwing these things all around. I'll have to clean this up later. This is another one I absolutely, when I saw it, I had to buy it. I love stitching with the housewives. You know, I do quite a bit of her patterns, and I'm surprised that we only have seen one so far. This is Believe. This is by Stitching with the Housewives, Priscilla Blaine. She is so talented. I absolutely love the way she charted the nativity scene. I absolutely love it. So I'm just doing it on some black 14 count Aida. You will find I don't stitch a lot on Aida anymore. That used to be a lot of what I stitched, 18, but a lot of my stuff is on. And I went ahead, I've done the whole top, and I've started the B. This is also one that I try to stitch also during the daytime, because it's hard to see. One of the bad things, I love where we live. We absolutely are in love with Tennessee and all this, but the lighting in my living room is not awesome. So it's very, very difficult. Believe it or not, I think those are all my Christmas WIPs. I have one more, but I will have to bring it to you and show. Yeah, that's my Christmas WIPs. Wow. Those are all my Christmas WIPs. So I want to show you my two largest WIPs. And I have a story behind this one. I kind of have a story behind this one too. Let's start with this one before I show you the biggest one. This is Hello Folks by Shannon Christine. Some people have been looking for this pattern. It's not on our website. I don't know where you can get it. I bought it 2 or 3 years ago. It's been a while. I've been working on this for a long time. I worked on it, and then I put it down because I had a big mistake in it, and I couldn't decide if I wanted to start it over. And this is on some kind of, you can't really tell how yellow this Aida is, but it just seems to be perfect for this. So I ended up frogging out my big mistake, which is kind of the story of the next one. And this is where I am. This was on my WIPCO board last month. So I am not even halfway through yet, but this is going to be so worth it. The colors in this, and it's all DMC, they just bring me joy. I think it's 5 or 6. It's not many colors at all. They're just so much fun. It's so much fun to do. I was stitching this. My husband, he's fine now. He went to the ER one day this week, and there was a lady who used to cross stitch. She was an older lady, and she kept looking. I took it with me, and because it's on 14 count, it's easy for me to see. And she kept talking about how much she loved it, and I think she had a touch of dementia, because she would go back and have some blood work and come back out and go, oh, let me see what you're stitching. It's so pretty. And then we'd talk again about how she used to stitch and things she used to do. I love it when I'm stitching in public and someone comes up and talks to me about it. It's always a lot of fun. I'm going to go ahead and show you this. This is the largest WIP I have. I finished One Nation, which I'm going to put in a short. I finished One Nation, and it's on my wall, and it is in a permanent place on my wall. I will talk about that after I show you the last WIP that you're going to see today. This is the Village of Hawk Run Hollow. I bought this and didn't think that I would actually stitch it. I don't know why. I actually bought the fabric. I have enough fabric for it. It's 28 count Vintage Country Mocha Casual Linen. So I bought this, and one day, I don't know, I was going through my stash, and you know what? I think I'll start the Village of Hawk Run Hollow. Don't know what came over me, but I did. Well, I had the bright idea that I would go all the way down and just get a lot of the blocks done, okay? And so I did at least these first 3. There's one more that goes all the way down. It'll be way down here. This is a little tear in the fabric. Don't know how it got there, but it's not going to affect the framing. There's not enough to affect it. So anyway, by the way, I don't iron anything. I haven't ironed any of these. Started to stitch the first block and realized I was a stitch off. I thought, well, do I want to fudge it? And so I posted in one of my groups, the Homespun group. I'm like, do I fudge it? And it was like 50-50. Some people said I would just fudge that all the way through, but the thought of fudging it for 4 long blocks and always having to remember that I'm a stitch off, no. So I did go ahead and frog it. And this is a very long-term project for me. I figure it might take me 6 months to do a block. They're 92 by 92. And I just figure maybe, 6 years, 4 years, 5 years, maybe I could be retired by then. I'll be in my mid-60s. But this is my progress on this now. I actually worked on this week. So this is where I am. And yes, it's all even now, but you can tell if you look here, you can tell where I just fixed that one block. I've still got to go frog the rest of it, because you can see where it's a stitch off. I still got to go frog all the rest of the bad stuff. So those are all of the WIPs that you're going to see now. I'll talk about plans and things, because next week will be more of a regular FlossTube, and will be more, and I'll show you the things I've stitched on this week. I'll also show you like the other pile of WIPs that aren't seasonal. You've pretty much seen all of my seasonal WIPs except for spring. I don't have a Valentine's Day WIP right now, and I don't have a St. Patrick's Day WIP. So I do decorate seasonally. It starts with winter at the very first of the month, and I have a good bit of winter things that I've stitched. I'm looking at one of them right there. I also do then it's Valentine's Day, and there's 2 or 3 right there. And then it's St. Patrick's Day. But St. Patrick's Day and Easter are so close this year and next year, it's kind of tough. I kind of go into spring and Easter, because spring and Easter are almost 2 separate seasons for me. I have a lot of purple things that are Eastery, and you'll see in my WIP parade next week that I have a lot of purple projects that I'm getting ready for next Easter. And I also have, but in my spring stuff, it's just a variety of things. I started doing carrots, and so we have like a little bar that we don't, it's like a little breakfast bar, a little counter that we don't use to eat on. We don't have stools there. And I decorated all of that with carrot decor with 2 pieces that I had stitched. One of them you've seen, one of them that was new this year, and I think it's on my Instagram. So after spring is Patriotic, that stays up. Then somewhere in mid-July, I turned to flamingos and beach theme. I have a lot of that stuff that I've stitched. And then I turn, and this is going to be new for me. In September, I'm going to try to do like sunflowers and apples and maybe some bees, just some different things, projects that I have in my stash and things I need to fully finish. There's one right behind me that I need to fully finish that I haven't done yet. That's a really beautiful sunflower project that was actually from Stitching with the Housewives. You've probably seen it. It's one of the jars. I finished the big jar. Then I do fall decor, and then I kind of in November add some Thanksgiving to the fall decor that's already out. And I do not do Christmas until the day after Thanksgiving. I do no Christmas decorating until the day after Thanksgiving. So that's kind of like probably more than you want to know about kind of how I seasonally decorate our house all the time. And then all of the projects that are seasonal, they're either there's a gallery wall of just all my projects, seasonal, and just a few that I just don't put out regularly. They're in my office. And then there's a little cube shelf over here that has the ones that kind of need to sit on a shelf. They're over here, and I'm looking like my spring. There's some Valentines, and there's a little turkey for Thanksgiving, a winter project that I did last year that I really enjoyed. So that's kind of it. And I may talk fast. I apologize. I do hope you come back. I do hope if you enjoyed it that you will like and subscribe. And just a couple things. I don't edit. I just do all this in one round. I don't edit, and I usually have a board, but I just kind of want to be here and show you the cross stitches and the finishes. I'm going to show you a couple of really fun finishes that I've done. You may have seen them on Instagram, but if you don't have Instagram and you don't follow social media, you wouldn't have seen them here. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to be quiet because I'm going to start rambling. But you guys have a great 4th of July, and I will see you here next week. Bye-bye.